pieces. Oh, that's my lovey. Hi everybody, it's Julessa, and in this week's video we're going to talk about polishing wheels and polishing compounds. So let's get started. Let's start with polishing compounds first, because you need these before you need the wheels, and then you need the wheels before you need the polishing compound. So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg scenario. But anyway, let's get started with the discussion about polishing compounds. Now, there are a lot of compounds out there for you to choose from. Some come in packs of 5, some come in packs of 6, others come in packs of 3 or 4. They're all different, but basically what you need to keep in mind is you want a polishing compound that goes from coarse, medium to fine. And it doesn't matter which brand you use, it's all going to be a matter of subjective evaluation for yourself. So I'm going to show you the polishing compounds that I use that I seem to have the most success with, and you can decide from many of the others, and I'll put a link to Rio Grande that has a bunch of different polishing compound options. First of all, I start off with a compound that's called white diamond, and you can kind of see in areas here, it's kind of a whitish gray color, and this is my coarse grit. I use this after I have filed and sanded my piece, and I generally will take my sanding up to an 800 grit sandpaper, and then I use this to get rid of any of the minute marks that are left from the 800 grit sandpaper. And so this is the basic general all-purpose use, and I use this first before I go to any of the more high polish compounds. The second one I use is called Gray Star, and as you can tell, it's gray, and this is what I would term a medium grit. Depending on the polishing compound sets that you buy, this might be on the lower end, of course, but I use this as a medium grit after I've used my white diamond. And the white diamond prepares it for the Gray Star. The Gray Star will help get rid of any other marks that might be left over from the white diamond polishing compound, and then give it a high luster. And then finally, I will use what we call Red Rouge. And Red Rouge is good for both silver and gold. And what it does is it brings the high polish luster up to a very, very smooth finish. Now, one of the things I'll mention before you get to these polishing compounds, you want to make sure that you've got your work sanded to the point where you want almost a high finish before you polish, because if you try to polish out with any of these compounds, any deep gouges or any marks in the metal, it won't happen. So you have to prepare your metal before you get to the polishing compounds. These are the last stages, and you want to make sure that all of the previous sanding has been done completely around the entire piece. Otherwise, you're just going to magnify any of the imperfections with any one of these polishing compounds. The other thing I'd like to note with the polishing compounds, they're made of silica and some finely coarse gritted material. So you always want to use your respirator or some sort of filtered mask, because the silica can be very harmful to your lungs and could cause some serious problems later on in life if used a lot without a mask. Not unlike COVID. Let's strike that. We don't even want to get into that conversation. Anyway, use your mask whenever you're using any kind of polishing compounds, whether you're using your flex shaft or you're using a polishing arbor. Now let's talk about polishing wheels. There are a lot of different polishing wheels out on the market, and this, like polishing compounds, is going to be something that you're going to want to experiment with and try and figure out on your own. They come in many different shapes and sizes. I'm going to go over each one of these, and these basically do a finer polish than what you get with the Red Rouge. You can use them to do your polishing for all 3 polishes, the white diamond, the Gray Star, and the Red Rouge, but I recommend using these with the Red Rouge for the most part. So let's get into each and every one of them. The first one I'd like to show you is the polishing arbor that has bristles. And this is a very soft one. They come in different hardnesses. You can get a very stiff brush to a medium brush, and this is a soft one. The soft brush I will typically use with the Red Rouge at the final polishing stages And what this does is it gets into all of the little cracks and crevices that you can't get into with a different kind of a wheel. For example, the chamoy wheel or maybe a felt wheel. These do really great in getting the piece all the way up to a high shine, but they can't get into small little crevices. So you want to use another type of wheel. You can use either a bristled wheel or you can use a impregnated wheel that's got the polishing compounds in it. So that's the bristle brush, and I'll show you another one. So this is my hard, this one is the medium, and this is the soft. And they also come in different diameters too. I think there's 2 different diameters that I've been able to find. So it's going to depend on what you're using it for and how you plan to use it in the future. I buy, I think it's the 7/8 inch one, just because I like a larger surface area so that the brushes last longer. Now these are fairly inexpensive. You can buy a box of them for like 12 bucks and they'll last quite a while. My second most often used is the chamoy, or it's kind of like a suede leather, and it holds onto the polishing compound really well, and it also helps get a really nice high shine on my pieces. I really, really love these more so than the brushes and some of the other polishing wheels. Even in comparison to the felt wheels, I like these better than the felt wheels. And by the way, I don't have any of the felt wheels because I didn't find them very useful. The next 2 I'm going to talk about are these rubber impregnated wheels. They have the polishing compound embedded in them, and I don't use them to do my major polishing because they wear out really fast. You can see with this one, the white one, which would be kind of equivalent to the white diamond, it's pretty much gone. And it goes away very quickly. Here's another one. This is another coarse grit one. They start off looking like this or like this, and they end up looking like kind of aliens on the end of a stick by the time you're finished with them. So I only use these in the occasions where I've already polished the piece really well and I've set a stone and there might be a blemish. I'll start off with the coarse wheel and work my way up to the pink wheel, which is the most fine grit you can get. And they come in a post like this, or a wheel, a knife edge like that, or they also come into a straight-sided wheel. They all wear down about the same, which is why I don't use them a lot in my polishing unless it's the very last thing I'm doing, because they do wear down really easily. Same with the polishing compounds. You want to wear your mask when you're using these because they are impregnated with silica, and silica is dangerous to your lungs. The last one I'd like to talk about is a pin polisher. Now, I don't use these very often either, except for in small little spaces. And the way these work is you unscrew them, you loosen them, and you have these little teeny tiny polishing pins. And they're like the wheels, and they are impregnated with the silica. And they work great in small crevices like under basket settings and in corners and inside of bezels before you set stones. So it works really well, but just like the other wheels, they wear down really fast and it can become pretty expensive. First off, I want to apologize for the high-pitched squealing you hear in the background. If you didn't notice it, great. If you did notice it, it was my dog whining. She was upset because I was talking and wasn't talking to her. Anyway, in this week's video, we covered polishing wheels and polishing compounds. And I know this is just barely a tip of the iceberg on polishing wheels and compounds. So if you have any specific questions about either, please leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Oh yeah, and don't forget to share it with your jewelry friends. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.